So next weekend, Corgan Hall again, generational struggle elimination match with Utami replacing Mirai. That was put in right after that Crooked Hall match last month. And now in retrospect, we were like, oh, so like Utami knew that and Stardom knew that she was going to GCW a month ago, at least. So it's time to talk about that, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
that'll be. I'm sure there's gonna be a clip. I'm
Oh
sure there'll be a
man.
clip. So Utami Hayashishita, uh, on the pay per view after Kamatani wins their tag match versus Stars, grabs the mic and says, I've been having some struggles with leadership and with being my old self, and I kind of need to find myself or find a new version of myself. So I'm going to take my time away from Queen's Quest, but I need the rest of y'all to, basically take over for me while I'm gone. And it leaves a lot of confusion. And she walks away and walks out up the ramp, and basically the rest of the unit follows. Uh, and it was kind of a head scratching thing, given that the pay per view that they had before was, Queen's Quest reunited and stronger, kind of, the reconnection of Aphrodite. So we get news today that while Utami will be away, she will be in GCW running 3 dates in July. And I was when you sent that to me, my jaw didn't hit the ground, but like in my mind it did. Yeah, man, that was a strange one. That was a real strange one. What are your thoughts on this, Rich?
Well, they announced one match for I think it's Billy Starks. She's gonna be fighting in one of them.
Okay.
Haven't seen the rest yet, but I got kind of a sick laugh out of it. I was looking at it. I was like, man, there were a lot of people so concerned that she would just show up on national television, but now we'll be watching Game Changer Wrestling to to see what Utami has to do there. I couldn't imagine being upset, at the prospect, not a booking, not this is just something people say, hey, can some Stardom people, maybe can they participate in AEW? Like, I don't, we talked about the adversarial relationship between some AEW fans, some Stardom fans over this whole who requested to talk to who thing that's going on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know who talked to who or tried to talk to
Right.
who when. Not privy to it, but for her not to go to be in America, and it's for GCW. Look, there are people who have like talked themselves into GCW has been the promotion that's doing the work with the women. GCW is the promotion that's going to showcase them. Correct? And they may, right?
Uh-huh.
But
They have women that are over there, like obviously Ito and Rina Yamashita. Yeah.
let's keep it a stack. How many of y'all watching GCW?
Yeah.
How many of y'all like watching GCW?
That's even more important.
How many of y'all want to give Brett Lauderdale y'all money?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many of y'all want to roll in the hay with that sleazy indie?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world if she was on, I don't know, ROH or like
Yeah.
AEW Dynamite. I don't see the bad thing here. If it was a case of worrying about talent being raided and stolen, might I remind you who GCW feels like they're tied to? I just
Yeah.
I just thought it was all kind of funny. I just think about Utami coming to America and seeing like because like we know how Utami is. She's not like the most expressive kind of performer
Right.
or anything, so it's
Right.
not. It doesn't line up in what you think, right? But maybe she's here to like kind of unlock something. Like, and
Could be.
I saw you make a tweet that I thought was pretty funny.
What was the tweet? I don't remember what I tweet
about
random
yeah,
shit at.
you talking about like when Okada, like when he came
Oh
to
yeah,
America.
yeah. So like, when Okada was like a young boy on Excursion, like I forgot, I think it was Shikara.
I
Well,
think
it doesn't
so. I
matter.
think it was
He's
Shikara.
okay. Yeah, like he was in Shikara or some indie, and like somebody had lied to him and told them that like the people in the town were really big in the giant Baba. So you see clips of him like doing the Baba head chops and shit, like he's Lady C, and it's like, what the hell are you doing, bro? And I was like, look, I ain't gonna lie. Like, if somebody like, I want someone to lie to Tommy and say that, hey, like, in the Northeast up here in Connecticut, right here, yeah, big Kamiko McHoward fans, right? And then she start unleashing the big pumping kicks and the big boosts and the mafia kicks and all that. Like, I just at random, be like, I ain't never seen Utami head kick nobody in my life. And she just start bringing this shit out, right? Or you'd be like, oh, no, you know what? They huge Karu Ito fans. She start double diving, double foot stomping on people. I want all types of out the character shit. And be like, who lied to her and said that they were fans of this AJW shit or this Gaia shit? That's what I want to see. That's what I want. I want that same guy to be handed down.
So she's got the Billy Starks match. Some people think Billy Starks is really good. I think she's pretty young, and it's kind of too early to call her good or bad.
Yeah.
I think she's more of a prospect at this stage. But there are also some people that think, presumably, she'll be here for Death Before Dishonor, and people are throwing out an Athena Utami match on the table. People were talking about they'd like to see something like that. Maybe that's what's going on here, but I don't know. I think that would be fun. But
what's the date on that?
July 20 something, I think.
The Grand Prix starts a week earlier than it has the last 2 years. It starts on the 23rd, so I don't know how that's going to work, or if that can work.
I'm not aware of the date. It could be earlier. Maybe the chat can help us out, but yeah, like, so this kind of follows, like, like Julia kind of doing the whole thing with New Japan Strong, Will Nightingale, which is coming up tomorrow, or after you guys hear this, it will be tomorrow because it's going to be on that 4th of July show at Corkin Hall, which is pretty funny. And Utami here is like, are they slowly like trying to like throw different tentacles out there?
I'm not sure what this is. Like, the thing about all of this stuff is that they're clearly being told no because they've always wanted to do international stuff, right? Like, Mina and Waka did not learn English, and same for Momo Kogo did not learn English to not come over here and wrestle. All of them have. Waka and Mina did the Rumble on 44th Street last year. Kogo came over here for the inaugural tournament for the Strong Women's title. Tam was going to come with Mayu back to Ring of Honor in early 2020, but the pandemic thing happened. That fell through. But they did come to California for 2 shows for some Bushi Road thing or whatever, because it's right after the purchase of Stardom from Bushi Road. Like Shuri, she wants to wrestle around the world too, and obviously she's getting calls, but hey, we saw this series you had with Tommy, wants you to do this or whatever else. Like, can you come over here and give someone brain damage, please? But can you have someone
and think about it, and think about people like in New Japan, Bushi Road being the same like company or whatever, like how Suzuki became a name in the UK, like Ishii became like a name in America. Like, I think this would be nothing but beneficial to Stardom, because like as long as you're taking care of these people to where they feel like that's their home and they don't feel like they want to get somewhere else and be like, they money is money in over here, like I think
what's happening in Tokyo Joshi Pro. It's not happening in Stardom though, at least not yet.
Right. Like, so like if it's a case, like, just make sure these people are paid and then like kind of send them out. I think it would be beneficial, like, to get more people kind of aware. I know people like to say, people always like to look for like specifics on how that's going to lead to more business. I don't have specifics for you, right? But I can talk about like what the Tomohiro Ishii and Keith Lee match did, kind of for
Right.
Ishii in like Rev Pro and
Shibata and Rev
yeah,
Pro. Yeah.
us like being able to kind of see them in other environments other than their own and see how they adapt and just kind of like it's a cool thing to do in their career. Like it's nice that they all wrestle each other, but it's like, yo, let
Yeah.
them stretch their legs a little bit or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, you want to ask what it does for them is like, hey, it keeps your workers happy. They want to wrestle internationally. They do. They've all said, or most of them have all said, like, unsolicited in most of these cases, they want to continue or they want to wrestle overseas for the first time. And like when there's been like this seeming embargo ever since the pandemic, it clearly means they've been told no up until now. And now, I don't know if it's the Mercedes coming in and be able to change some of this or whatever else, but yeah, they've wanted to come. They've been basically stuck together or stuck, in the promotion, doing their thing, but doing only that, and they kind of want to stretch their legs out and see what's out there. Not necessarily to leave, or if they want to leave, that's their prerogative, whatever. But they want to wrestle overseas. Like Azumi is taught. Like so last year, going into the Sumo Hall show that I ended up going to, Hikari Shimizu was in that CMLO tournament that they have every year with Joshis and people from all around the world. And she came back and she challenged Azumi for the High Sweet title. And she mentioned it during the press conference, like, I just came back from Mexico. And Azumi is a little mini Io. Io's wrestled in Mexico before. And once she said that, you just saw the joy in her face, like she's like, I want to wrestle in Mexico too. The fuck. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like these people want to go all around and do all this kind of stuff. So it does you no good to not let one of them out to do X, Y, or Z this time here or there, or whatever else. Like they know, I'm pretty sure they know what the Joshi landscape looks at. That's why a lot of them left from their situation to get to Stardom to begin with. Like, and I'm sure they know that like a lot of them don't have spots for them elsewhere like that, right? Like they all talk. Like you don't think that like Shuri is talking to Shida,
right? Be like, hey, like what's it look like over there or whatever,
right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and the same thing with like, oh, Kyrie, how was your situation in EO? How's your situation in WWE when you were there? How is it in WWE right now? I know, it might sound real good for when people talk EO right now because she just won Money in the Bank, right? But you ain't guaranteed that you're gonna be EO. Like, and you talked about it a second ago when it came to Utami, and like you don't like at first glance, she doesn't seem like somebody that immediately gets over on first viewing to an American fan base to me, right? She's, it's her character. She's not actually like this in real life, but like in front of cameras, she's a stoic, hard to get to, cool person. She's a bit of a goofball backstage according to Queen's Quest, but that's not for us to see, right? So like, yeah, I wonder how that's going to work. Obviously as a rep, but like it's GCW. That rep don't really hold in that same way. Like if she was in AEW, you can, shine her up and be like, here's, she did this with Shuri, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, and I also thought about like, well, GCW, they love doing that hardcore garbage shit. And like Tommy's had 2 matches where like she has bled. Whereas like, I don't know if I'm not exactly sure these were hard ways or not, but she bled. Like the match we just talked about,
she bled
in the cage match. Like, someone told me that was a hard way, but I have a hard time imagining that someone gets up bleeding immediately after a swanton off of the after catching a swanton off the top of the cage, and there's no swelling anywhere on her head. So yeah, I think that was a blade, but maybe it's just me, but we'll see. But like you had that match, and going back to her white belt match versus Arisa at the anniversary show in 2020, Arisa Hoshiki, it's like she somehow comes up with this fortuitous blood in these matches, and I can't really, and much like Bret Hart, I don't know if you can really tell her spot the blade, but I don't see no swelling that will indicate that she got busted open hard way. So yeah, she might be a blood person. We just don't, you only think about it because Stardom has a no blood mandate. That Utami only the only person that is able to slip by those apparently. So we'll see, but if they go out, cool. Like my whole thing with AEW, will not with Stardom is like, I don't care. it's been a lot of talk and a lot of nothing. So I'm trying to just like it's a kind of a waste for me to even think about that energy. But like they go elsewhere, sure, why not? I mean, Tokyo Joshi Pro people are going everywhere. Like on the Dragon Gate, people were going everywhere last year. So yeah, the Noah people like Marufuji was in New York on House of Glory earlier this year. Like it's a lot. There is a demand to see these people.
Yep.
Going on
DPW,
right now.
they've like we talked about when they were first doing that. We were like, what are they doing? And I think over time it's kind of become more clear. Is like they are creating an attraction or whatever, and then like
Yep.
a pipeline essentially to like
Right.
bring people in or whatever. Like and then have opponents like kind of familiar. Like when somebody like they have Sakura now who's established there for them, and now they can bring in like more people to come wrestle Sakura, who's like their person, kind of. So
Right. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. Was it Deadlock?
right,
Yeah, and then also like not maybe even outside of the Sakura verse, there's also like we all seemingly feel like Sumi Sakai is a plug for like everybody, like
yes,
Jungle Kiona coming over here on her run, right? And a few other people too. So yeah, like there's a lot of stuff. You see like the stuff like the Spark Joshi stuff happening, and then the Eric from Joshi Pod running his promotion as well. Like yeah, it seems like you said, there's a bunch of attractions and everything, and like people come over here, get flued out, get
look,
lodging, and sell a bunch of merch more than they probably would on a random day, a random weekend somewhere. I imagine it being lucrative for them as long as they get fucking paid and not get screwed over. That's all I'm
right,
concerned about. As long as they get what they were promised, I'm perfectly fine. Like Oscar Vinius came over a few times. Yeah. Yamashita comes over to GCW and has her bloody shit, and like she's over every time she shows up, from what I see. So and Makita's over like a god.
yep,
So yeah.
yeah, man. And then take us